What actor/actress was completely 100% wrong for the role? Jafar in the new Aladdin. He wasn't believable or menacing and way too young. Plus for much of his screen time he's standing next to Naveed Negahban, who would have been a much better choice. Ferdia Shah as Artemis Fowl. He conveys none of the intelligence, shrewdness or relentless determination of the book character. He comes across as a child dressed up in a suit and handed cue cards with smart-sounding lines to read unconvincingly. He's a child, so I'm going to lay the blame for that one on the casting director. Nah, that was the movie creators/Disney deciding the book wasn't safe enough. They completely butchered the character, from the first scene to the last. They butchered the rest of the movie too, changed the story completely and then didn't want to spend the money to reshoot it and make it coherent at all. His last line in the movie, "I'm Artemis Fowl. And I'm a criminal mastermind," was so absolutely ridiculous because he just wasn't. He was in the book though. I never understand this. They pay millions for the rights to a wildly successful, well-selling book. And then are like, okay, let's just change the entire story and keep the aesthetic. Then they wonder why the film flops and fans of the book call it dog crap. Terry Pratchett stopped dealing with movie suits because of what they wanted to do if they could get the movie rights for his book Mort. Mort is a book about a boy who becomes Death's apprentice at a job fair. Like, the literal death. And he ends up moving into Death's house, meeting his family, failing to do the job he's supposed to do, because he starts crushing on someone who is supposed to die, and consequently causing a reality-based catastrophe as reality itself attempts to change to fix his F-ups. They wanted to remove the character Death from the movie adaptation. Death. For Mort. The character is arguably more important to the story than Mort himself. And they were going to remove him. Pratchett would be so pissed about what they've turned the watch into on that new series. They effing what? How? Why? At that point, why even buy the rights to the series? You're making a completely different movie. Name recognition. That's really it. They want to do their own thing, but know that it'll be crap, so they try to mooch of the name of a different and popular property. There was literally nothing right with the Artemis Fowl movie. All of the books are pretty short and can easily be adapted to the big screen too. Them spouting off Butler's name within the first few minutes made me just turn that crap off. I didn't last past Artemis surfing. Something he would never do ever. The whole scene where he was shooting a gun and running and generally performing fitness-related activities. Just. No. Wrong. I still haven't seen it. This makes me cry inside. I remember reading Culfer's statement that he was proud to have inspired it and I was broken. That and the fact that he was dressed in casual clothes like a normal teenager and not an expensive 5-piece suit. Joel McHale is Roy in the ill-fated US remake of The IT Crowd. We want a scruffy and misanthropic IT nerd, so let's get an actor known for charisma and confidence? Okay. My favorite thing about it was that they couldn't recast Moss, so they just kept Richard Ayoade. It's literally just Moss moved to America and living the same life as he did in the UK show. I actually want to watch it just to see Moss in America now. It's only a pilot, and is basically a shot-for-shot remake of the UK pilot. But they Americanized the IT room to make it nerdy cool as well. Edit, thank you for the award. That sucks. One of the coolest bits of the IT Crowd was the plausibility of the set. The piles of junk and second-hand office equipment were familiar to IT people everywhere. That was the only nerdy cool they needed. I have a picture of the set as a desktop background, and people always had fun identifying the equipment and the stickers like a big nerdy Where's Wally. Ugh, that defeats the purpose of the dingy basement office. A lot of things aren't right. I don't know where to see it now, but basically everything is sort of similar but completely wrong. And some different scenes were added, but it made it worse somehow. I saw it several years ago, so I don't remember specifics, but I remember the need to wash my eyes after seeing it. I absolutely love McHale in Community. My jaw hit the floor when I saw him as Roy in the IT Crowd. What the hell casting was that? He's more handsome than the guy that's famous for being handsome. Doesn't make for a convincing awkward nerd character. His shadow. Even his shadow. There's a US remake of IT Crowd? Yikes. Only the pilot episode. Richard Ayoade came back to play Moss. The pilot is almost word for word the exact same as the original, and somehow none of it is funny. That's what they did with the In-Betweeners. And ruined it. Edit. Wow, the replies. Yes, there was an American attempt at the In-Betweeners. If you make it past one episode, you must really like torture. The Office was a rare success of this type of thing. The language/slang used wasn't so specific that it made or broke the show. Bus wanker doesn't work well in American English. Yes, there are lots of other shows attempted. Most of them suck too. Edit 2. I was incorrect about the scripting of The Office. Fixed my comments. Web link. John Voight as a snake hunter in Anaconda is fine, but him as a Paraguayan snake hunter? Just, why? Laughing out loud. Edit. Holy guacamole, I just got back to my computer and this blew up. Who knew my most upvoted comment would be about John Voight in Anaconda? Never change, Reddit. Thank you for the awards, internet strangers. Because he learned his accent from his maid. Who was probably not even from Paraguay? Fun movie, but he was ridiculous in it. No, Mr. Anaconda no home, no. John Voight looks like a guy wearing a John Voight mask. John Dorian as Dr. Acula. He is way too hammy, and not very threatening for a vampire who is behind loads of mysterious deaths in the hospital. He clearly only got the part because he wrote the darn script for it. It was also a very racist filming process where multiple times Chris Turk was told to act blacker. In good conscience, I can't support the film. A great ending for the movie though. I mean, it's really impressive when the name Dr. Acula comes on screen and they remove the dot, squeeze the words together and reveal Dracula. Simply amazing. Mickey Rooney as Mr. Yunioshi. I think I remember that film. Never fails, I read Mickey Rooney but in my head I see Mickey Rourke, now as Mr. Yunioshi. The movie is Breakfast at Tiffany's for those wondering like me. Because no child comment names the movie. Maybe an unpopular opinion, but Sophie Turner as Jean Grey. I like her as an actress, but I just couldn't get into it. I felt like she struggled with hiding her accent. I hate it when she tries to do an American accent of any kind in roles. It's so terrible. I love her and normally don't care or notice when English actors do American accents, but hers just always sticks out. 2 different accents in the first sentence she says. It's kind of cool listening to it change midway through her first sentence. Her southern accent is crazy bad, tease Nick Cage in Con Air level of bad southern accent. YouTube link. I'm Josie, sounds sort of Australian and I just moved in the other night as some kind of southern accent. Wow, that is distractingly bad. Despite some of the movies being good, the X-Men franchise effed around with most of their characters and the storylines way too much. Young Jean as Phoenix made no sense. She needed to be a central figure on the team, alongside Cyclops, for several movies to have the correct impact. Don't even get me started on how badly they effed up Mystique and then were forced to shoehorn her into everything. Or Storm. Or Rogue. The characters they got right really worked though: Wolverine, Professor X, Magneto. Colin Farrell as Alexander the Great. As one of my old university professors once said, I wouldn't follow that guy to the end of my driveway. You can't talk about Oliver Stone's Alexander without mentioning that the madman has 4 different directors' cuts of the film. I swear there's a good movie in there. Just give me another shot. One of the cuts has a short message at the beginning saying that this is the most complete version because there is nothing left to add to it. It's literally every single scene they shot. I don't know, it always struck me as being sort of like a sculptor trying to submit a solid block of marble as a finished statue. And Angelina Jolie as his mother, for F's sake. That's not what bothered me. It was the weird accents. If I recall correctly, Colin Farrell couldn't entirely get rid of his Irish accent, so the decision was made to try to get all the Macedonians to speak with a pseudo-Irish accent to match him. I don't think it worked, to put it mildly. Irish Greeks. Yeah, that was never going to end well. I think Colin Farrell, and all I think of is In Bruges. Shows that even though the actor or actress in question can still be top-notch, but still be the wrong casting. Dude is a great actor, but not the emperor type whatsoever. Cameron Diaz was horrible in the 2014 Annie remake. She hasn't made a movie since. To be fair, anyone would look terrible in comparison to Carol Burnett's Miss Hannigan. There is a moment where she stares thoughtfully at a painting, hung perfectly straight on the wall, before tilting it slightly so it looks level in her drunken state. I have no idea if that was in the script or something she did in the moment, but it's perfect. Her performance is a masterpiece. I saw it in the window, and I just couldn't resist it. Web link. Allison Janney is the only actress who could play Carol Burnett. Allison Janney could do about whatever she wants, it feels like sometimes. Allison Janney could be the actual White House press secretary. And she would be awesome. Apparently she retired a few years ago. It's weird how we almost see these big star actors as failures if they stop making movies. Like if I had her money, I'd be quite happy to retire, too. There's a lot of former big actors that seem to have retired or semi-retired and just gone and done something else. If your last paycheck was $5 million, why wouldn't you? Totally, especially not having to retire at the normal age when you're still physically able to really go on adventures and enjoy life. Sounds like heaven. Any film with 30-year-olds playing teens. I was so confused by Grease growing up. Why are these people that look the same age as my mom at school? Especially Stockard Channing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love her. But high schooler with that face? Nah son. Weirdly she was the same age, 33, as the actor of Hannah Montana's brother at the end of his run, and he looked the part. I didn't follow it, but when every shop and screen was bombarded with it I somehow assumed he was meant to be her younger brother. So some 33-year-olds can pull it off. She wasn't one of them, though. Nor a couple of the others. I thought Jackson Stewart had Kallman syndrome though, right? It's a hormone deficiency similar to why Andy Milonakis looked so young when he was about 30 during his show. Jason Earls is the actor, can't find anything online but plenty of tabloid rumors. Not sure though, he looks normal otherwise, just like a much younger adult. And he has a daughter. Still possible. But I think unlikely. I seem to remember one of those teen movie parody movies, probably either Not Another Teen Movie or Scary Movie, edit, apparently it was both, have a meta-humor line on this. If I remember right, it had high school kids walking to school and they joked about how if they were characters in a movie, they'd be getting played by old actors or some crap. In Scary Movie, they laugh about the thought of being in a horror movie. Cindy says, "You guys are right. If we were, they'd probably cast some dingbat like Jennifer Love Hewitt to play me." Greg says, "And they'd cast people in their late 20s, early 30s to play us." Sigh, I watched this movie way too many times growing up. John Wayne is Genghis Khan, the Conqueror. That is just wrong on so many levels, I don't know where to start. Hello Tartar woman. I am Timogen, pilgrim. When he says my Tartar blood says take her, I actually laughed aloud. Remember that Bond movie where Denise Richards plays a nuclear physicist? Dr. Christmas Jones, and no jokes. I don't know any doctor jokes. Bond did actually say this? Web link. They thought up that joke first and built the entire movie around it. It shows. Technically, yes, at the end of the movie after they had already bonded. But when she introduces herself to Bond, she expects a Christmas joke. He broke the ice, by not only not making a Christmas joke, but feigning a lack of a sense of humor, that somehow, warmed her heart. I don't really see how that's off-brand for the franchise though. Like if she was on the cast of Chernobyl I might question it, but not in a Bond movie. Is it now the time to talk about Topher Grace's Eddie Brock / Venom? Came in here just to say this. Who in the ever-loving F decided it would be a good idea to cast Eric Foreman as Venom? They should have cast Red Foreman as Venom. With great power comes great responsibility, dumbass. With great power comes a foot in your ass. TBH, I kept expecting that a foot in the ass was going to be Venom's weakness. I still do. Ant-Man and Thanos' rectum? Nah, that's Red's foot in Venom's backside. Paraphrased, Topher Grace was the one man in Hollywood that made Tobey Maguire look tough and intimidating. The whole point is for Venom to be more intimidating than Spider-Man. It's like an entire point was missed. It was. They did Emo Parker and Evil Parker, Eddie Brock/Venom, in the same movie. Eddie Brock Venom should be a big burly linebacker-sized antagonist of Parker. Not a weird warped mirror of him. Why the F was Jesse Eisenberg cast as Lex Luthor of all effing things? All depictions of him are of a tall, bald, and lean businessman. No disrespect for the actor, I'd take such a high-paying job too, but whoever thought of casting him as a clown? Jesse Eisenberg was cast as Lex Luthor, but he delivered in Edward Nygma. Should have casted Jeff Bezos for Lex. I don't know if he can act, but I'm not sure he'd need to. Making of documentary, yeah, we didn't actually tell Jeff we were making a movie, we just followed him around with a camera for a couple days, and he just tried to take over the world that week. Henry Cavill actually had to kick his ass to stop him. That week. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.